Understanding art and realism involves delving into the core of two distinct yet intertwined concepts. Art, in its broadest sense, represents the expression or application of human creativity and imagination, typically in visual forms like painting, sculpture, and more. It often prioritizes aesthetic value and emotional resonance over strict adherence to reality. Realism, on the other hand, is an artistic movement that aims to depict subjects as they exist in life, with an emphasis on accuracy and detail, often eschewing embellishments or interpretative abstractions. At its essence, balancing art and realism involves exploring how these two approaches can coexist, complement, and sometimes contrast each other within a single work or body of work. This balance is significant in the world of visual and performing arts, as it touches on the fundamental artistic struggle between depicting reality and exploring imaginative expression. For instance, in literature, realist novelists like Gustave Flaubert focused on intricate details to reflect societal truths, paving the way for profound narratives that prioritized authenticity. Alternatively, the work of impressionist painters like Claude Monet demonstrates how artists use stylized techniques to evoke a sensory experience rather than capture a photographic replica of the world. In modern filmmaking, directors such as Christopher Nolan employ hyper-realism mixed with imaginative elements to create movies like Inception, which challenges viewers' perception of dreams and reality, indicating how art and realism can be blended to provide a more engaging experience. From this perspective, balancing art and realism allows artists to explore deeper truths and evoke emotions that resonate on both a personal and universal level. It encourages a dialogue between the artist's intent and the audience's perception, often blurring the lines between fiction and non-fiction to stretch the boundaries of conventional storytelling. However, this approach is not without its challenges and controversies. Critics often debate the merit of prioritizing realism over artistic interpretation, or vice versa. Some argue that an emphasis on realism can stifle creative freedom, while others believe that too much abstraction can alienate audiences seeking relatable content. Furthermore, the subjective nature of art means that what is considered a successful balance between art and realism can vary widely depending on cultural context and personal taste. Ultimately, understanding the balance between art and realism influences broader discussions within the arts, impacting decisions in technique, narrative choice, and audience engagement. It invites a richer exploration of human experience, encouraging artists and audiences alike to question, interpret, and appreciate the diverse ways in which artistry and authenticity intersect. The historical perspective of art and realism explores the dynamic interplay between two crucial artistic philosophies that have significantly influenced the trajectory of visual arts. Historically, art has often been seen as a reflection of reality, yet it simultaneously serves as an avenue for expressing idealized visions, emotions, and abstract concepts. Realism, as an art movement, emerged prominently in the 19th century as a reaction against Romanticism, emphasizing a more accurate, fact-based representation of the world. This shift marked a pivotal moment where artists began prioritizing the portrayal of ordinary life and everyday subjects, thereby questioning previously established norms that often glamorized life and distorted truth for aesthetic pleasure. The significance of this historical perspective lies in its revolutionary transformation of artistic intent and method. Realism urged artists to depict their subjects with a commitment to authenticity and truth, providing viewers with a tangible connection to the present world. This emphasis on truth in art continues to influence contemporary debates on balancing emotional expression with factual accuracy within various creative disciplines, including photography, film, and literature. One notable example of realism in art is the work of Gustave Courbet, who boldly represented the socio-political climate of 19th century France through his paintings. His masterpiece, The Stone Breakers, showcases unidealized, ordinary laborers, steering art towards social commentary and providing a powerful critique of industrial society. Similarly, in literature, authors like Charles Dickens adopted a realist approach, vividly detailing the plight of the urban poor in novels like Oliver Twist. Despite its impact, there are alternate viewpoints within the art community. Some critics argue that realism restricts artistic freedom, confining expression to literal interpretations. Others claim that it may sometimes overlook the spiritual or imaginative facets of human experience, thus limiting art's emotional depth. The historical perspective of art and realism not only underpins the balance between factual representation and creative expression, but also influences contemporary debates surrounding this equilibrium. It challenges us to consider how art can maintain its emotive power while serving as an honest reflection of society. As realism intertwines with other artistic movements and disciplines, it prompts ongoing discussions about the role of truth and creativity in shaping human perception and experience. Whether in historical context or modern practice, the dialogue between art and realism continues to inform, inspire, and provoke thought about the nature and purpose of artistic endeavor. Balancing artistic expression and realism involves the delicate act of marrying creativity with authenticity. This concept centers on achieving a harmonious interplay between conveying imaginative ideas and portraying elements that genuinely reflect the real world. The significance of this balance lies in its ability to create works that both inspire and resonate, making art relatable yet thought-provoking. It asks artists to navigate the fine line between their visionary impulses and the expectations or experiences of their audiences. For instance, in filmmaking, directors like Christopher Nolan often blend imaginative storytelling with meticulous attention to detail that grounds their narratives. In Inception, Nolan crafts a visually stunning, fantastical world of dreams while adhering to an internal logic, allowing audiences to suspend disbelief while remaining engaged with the story's realism. Similarly, in literature, authors like George Orwell in 1984 blend dystopian narratives with grounded socio-political commentary, offering a lens through which readers can explore imaginative scenarios that parallel real-world concerns. Supporting opinions for this concept highlight its capacity to elevate both the impact and accessibility of art. Balancing art with realism helps diverse audiences connect with creative works while provoking deeper thinking about societal norms and human experiences. Critics often argue that such a balance facilitates empathy and understanding across cultural divides, as realistic elements can reflect universal truths, while artistic nuances offer new perspectives. However, challenges arise in achieving this balance. Artists might face criticism for either straying too far into abstraction or for being overly formulaic and losing their unique voice. The debate over realism versus artistic expression also sparks controversy, as some purists advocate for adhering strictly to one approach. Alternative viewpoints suggest that prioritizing realism may stifle creativity by imposing limitations, while others argue that too much artistic freedom can obscure the intended message. This balance influences other aspects of the main topic by encouraging interdisciplinary approaches, where insights from varying fields like psychology or sociology inform creative works, enhancing their realism. It also drives innovation, as artists experiment with new techniques or technologies to blend the imaginative with the authentic. Overall, the balance between artistic expression and realism is not just a creative challenge, but a dynamic force shaping the evolution of art itself, impacting how cultures consume and interpret creative expressions in contemporary society. Techniques for integrating realism in art involves strategies and methodologies that artists use to infuse realistic elements into their works. Realism in art is about representing subjects truthfully, without artificiality, and avoiding speculative fiction and supernatural elements. This contrasts with abstract art, where forms and colors can exist independent of the real world. Integrating realism enriches the artwork by making it relatable, nuanced, and often emotionally resonant for viewers who find comfort and connection in the familiar. The significance of integrating realism lies in its power to enhance the viewer's understanding and appreciation of both the artwork and the real world it reflects. By incorporating realistic elements, artists can ground abstract or conceptual work in recognizable worlds, bridging the gap between imagination and reality. This balance can make the art more accessible and engaging, as it invites audiences to explore deeper meanings using familiar reference points. Examples of techniques for integrating realism are abundant. One example is chiaroscuro, a method that uses strong contrast between light and dark to create the illusion of volume and dimension, famously employed by artists like Caravaggio. Another example is the use of perspective, either linear or atmospheric, a technique that creates an impression of depth on a flat surface, extensively utilized during the Renaissance period by artists such as Leonardo da Vinci. These techniques are used to draw the viewer into the work by simulating real-world optical experiences. Opinions supporting this approach often praise its ability to make art more understandable and evocative, allowing the viewer to appreciate both technical skill and thematic depth. Some critics argue that incorporating realism is essential for reflecting societal issues and human experiences accurately, making art a powerful medium for commentary and reflection. Potential challenges associated with integrating realism include the risk of oversaturation, where the emphasis on replicating reality can stifle creativity and innovation. Artists might face criticism for prioritizing technique over conceptual innovation, or be accused of lacking imagination. These controversies often spark discussions about the nature and purpose of art, weighing the merits of representation against abstraction. Integrating realism in art is intrinsically linked to the broader theme of balancing art and realism. It informs debates about artistic intention and audience interpretation. It pushes the boundaries of how art can be both an imaginative escape and a mirror to life, elevating its function as a multifaceted form of expression.